Welcome to the DRGN SLYR podcast by East Idaho Credit Union. I am Steven. With me, as always, is Bailey. And today's guest, Clarissa Ryan from the Gussy Up Bow Company, not the Gussy Up Bow Company, right?
That's right.
So let's start with that. Where did the name come from? How did you come up with that?
So it's actually my nickname, Gussy.
Gussy, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So
where did that come from? How did that happen?
So growing up, my brothers couldn't say my name Clarissa, so they would call me Gussa. And then siblings and aunts and uncles, I was called Gus for a long time. And then I think when I had nieces and nephews, it evolved into Gussy, and my husband calls me Gussy. And every once in a while, we'll have neighbors or friends over, and he calls me that almost exclusively. He never says my real name, and they'll hear him say did he just call you Gussy? And I'm like, yeah. Oh yeah, I forget that people don't know. So that's my nickname. And then Gussy Up, I don't know, I just thought of it, and I was like, that's the name.
I love it.
Did
you have any alternative names before you came up? That was just it was it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Okay, so when you're dealing with suppliers that maybe are not from the United States,
Mm-hmm.
do they know what that word means? Do they
I don't
understand
think
it?
so. I think they are just these Americans, they make up. Yeah, because the guy from the UK, he wouldn't even say goose. He would call it Goosey. He wouldn't say Gussy Up, my ads guy. And yeah, he would just say, we're working on Goosey and Goosey ads. And I don't think they had any idea. So.
And do you correct him, or you just let him
No.
roll with it?
I just went with it on him. Who else? Sometimes people on Instagram will reference, or they'll be tagging me, they got a package or something. And what did they say? They'll say Gussy Bow Company or something. It's pretty close, So I just go with it. I don't know.
That guy from the UK in 12 years, he's going to understand that it's pronounced wrong, and he's going to be like, I can't believe she never told me.
Yeah,
That's going to happen to him.
Someday when I'm famous. No, I don't.
So let's
Makes
go.
it fun.
Yeah. So let's go back in time just a little bit here.
Okay.
How did you decide to start Gussy Up Bow Company? How did that happen?
So I have 4 kids. I have 2 boys that are 10 and 13, and then I have 2 girls. And they're right now, how old are they? 6 and 4. So when I had my first little girl, we needed bows. We needed all the girl things. And I made some bows, like every mom kind of does. And then for Christmas, I remember her first Christmas, I wanted a red velvet bow, and I couldn't find one. And it wasn't it wasn't out there, it was sold out. The shop that I wanted to buy it from, it was sold out. And I think everywhere, I couldn't buy one. I couldn't buy a red velvet bow, which is it's Christmas time. Where's the red velvet bows at? It seems pretty. So I ended up going to Hobby Lobby, and I bought some ribbon, and I made my own. And then I just kind of started making some from there. And I think that happened again. I couldn't find the specific bow I wanted to match an outfit or whatever. So I started making them, and then I just decided I'm going to make bows, kind of. And I remember telling one of my neighbors and we had moved there probably within a year, so we kind of knew each other. And I told her, I was like, I think I'm going to start selling bows. And I remember it was this awkward great, she's my neighbor and now she wants to sell to me, because that's how it goes when you're you sell to your friends first.
Yeah.
And I just remember being no, not it was real. I want to make bows, and I want to sell them. And it's not that I want to sell them to my mom and my grandma. I want to sell them. And so I started an Etsy shop. After that, I think I had I took $100 and I went and bought fabric, and I was like, this is what I'm going to try. I'm going to do it. And I told my husband, and I come up with the name. I was like, it's going to be Gussy Up Bow Co. And I got $100 of fabric and shipping supplies and clips. And it was really bad at first. It was terrible. The pictures were awful.
I so appreciate you just being honest about that too, because so often people are like, it was amazing. I was a genius from the start. But I think there's something really real about just getting something out there and then iterating it over time until it gets to a place
and
you
just
like.
do the thing. That's what I feel like has helped me for 6 years now, is I just like do the thing and then get better at it later. And I had a friend in Utah who had an Etsy shop, which is where, that's what they do in Utah, is have online businesses. So I called her or texted her and I was like, I think I'm going to sell bows. I'm going to do a bow shop. And she told me maybe try locally to Idaho because the market's way too saturated for that. There's too many bow shops. And I was like, really? And I kind of thought about it like going to some local boutiques and wholesaling or just trying it that way. And I was just like, no, I'm going to sell bows.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it. So I feel like, if you're going to do it, like just do it. And helping me, not letting her stop me, like helped it start, helped it be, and not like ignore, we got to ignore all the people that think you can't do it.
Okay, so one of the things that we see a lot of entrepreneurs kind of struggle with is, especially when they first start, is they have like the idea what they think they want to do, and then they have what maybe people tell them, or maybe they look at some market research or something like that, and they feel like those things might be in conflict.
Yeah.
How do you work through that? How do you deal with that?
Honestly, I know this is a thing because I have friends that are like, no, I'm going to do this Etsy shop, but when I have 30 listings ready or when I have this amount of content to post on Instagram. And so I know it's like such a stopping block
big barrier
for people. Yeah. Yes. And I don't know how, actually I do know, other than just like I wanted to do it. But also like I was looking for something other than doing laundry. Like I had 2 boys in school and there was 4 years in between my boys and my girls. So the boys were bigger, they're in school, and then I had a baby at home and I was bored.
Yeah.
Like I was literally, and I am like a bored personality. Like I have to like be doing the next thing or just like be busy. And I was bored. I didn't want to do laundry and the dishes and cook dinner. And then I got pregnant when my baby was 9 months old. So I had 2 babies and I was just like trapped in my house during nap time. So I think that drove me a lot to like find just something to keep me busy. And I think that's why a lot of, at least I know a lot of mother entrepreneurs that, do stuff in their basement. And it's an amazing thing because we can still be a mom and be at home and take care of our kids. And we can be like, find this fulfillment that we need.
I think that's a storyline that maybe doesn't get told enough. I remember when my wife and I first got married, my old man actually was talking to her and he's like, hey, you're going to want to find something for yourself other than just like taking care of kids and doing laundry and cooking dinner and that sort of a thing. And it actually kind of upset her a little bit because she's like, no, I want to be a mother.
Yeah.
I want to do this sort of stuff. And then I think she found out later that he was right, that she really needed something else for herself. And I think it's a really cool thing that a lot of women can actually get into and do that maybe we don't talk about enough, right? Like everybody loves the idea of, they're a stay-at-home mother and it's great. But you can get a little trapped,
and I think
right?
it's just so much more accessible now with Instagram and the internet, and it's doable.
Yep.
Even more so than like we could make Etsy shops 10 years ago. Now I can like fully like send all of these people to my Etsy shop because of my Instagram following or because of whoever sees it on, Instagram. So it's great that it's this new kind of age accessible thing we can do.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Okay. So for the uninitiated, I'm the father of 4 girls.
Okay.
So I understand.
You need some both.
Yeah. So I kind of understand this a little bit. Talk to us about the product lineup. Like, what is it that you actually sell and produce?
Okay. So we started with just bows. And I've noticed, and I've tried to get away from this, is I started with baby bows because I had baby girls. And then I kind of grew up my baby bows into like middle age, toddler bows. And I've tried to be like, okay, right now I only have older girls, so I need to also make baby bows. But we make all kinds of bows for big girls and little girls. And then 3 years ago, probably, we have claw clips now. I sell scrunchies. We have a few dresses that we sell. I don't make the dresses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We just sell lots of accessories. So it's kind of like girls' boutique. I added little girl purses and necklaces for Easter this year for spring, our spring line.
Nice.
So it's just fun for me. I've always liked like trends and accessories and clothes. So
you have the glitter too, right?
Yes, hair glitter.
What
We
is
just
that?
added
What is
hair
that?
glitter.
I don't even know what that is.
It's amazing. It is. It's like I saw it on a little girl. I think she was her mom posted a picture of her wearing my bow, and she had this glitter in her hair. And I was like, what is that? That's so cute. And she told me, she's like, it's hair glitter. And so I bought some from wholesale from my glitter girls. I call them the girls that make our glitter, hair glitter. It's just gel and glitter, but
That's
it's like all kinds of glitter. And we have a St. Patrick's Day one, and then we have some spring ones coming, and we'll get some summer, rainbows and butterflies, and it's like taken over the internet. Like they love it.
I've never even heard of that before. And
really
it doesn't get everywhere like most glitter does, right?
It doesn't. It's kind of
because it's suspended in the gel stuff.
It's in the gel. You paint it on the hair, and it falls out throughout the day, and you don't have to give them a bath. Like they just, went to a basketball game with red hair, so it's fun. Yeah, we just added that, and that's been a kind of exciting thing for this year.
Nice.
I love
Nice.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back again real quickly. I got ahead of myself because it's just an interesting topic. So you say, I'm going to make bows.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? What happens after that?
At East Idaho Credit Union, we offer startup loans for emerging businesses to help support you in the early stages of growth. This could be for inventory, equipment, or other operating expenses. Almost all businesses qualify. Get started today by visiting us at eastidahocu.org/start, federally insured by the NCUA.
I started making them. I took pictures on my kitchen floor. I remember taking trying to take a picture, and then I had a couple other friends that had done businesses too, and they were better at photography than me, and I sent them a picture, and I was like, this is what I'm doing, what's wrong? Like, the pictures are crappy. And I was like, it's too cloudy today, so I can't get a good picture. And they're like, no, actually, cloudy is exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So I had no idea.
Yeah.
And so I just tried, and the pictures got better. And then eventually I hired a photographer, and we did photo shoots, and we've been doing that ever since. But like the orders came in slow, and I'd have a few orders a week, and some weeks I would have none. And I would get an order and like be so excited and go fulfill it right away, And I feel like for my business, it has been it's been 6 years just this March.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like a slow, consistent, kind of gritty 6 years. I feel like I see other businesses and compare, and I'm like, oh my gosh, but they have only been doing this for 5 years, and they have way more followers. And I try not to do that because mine has been like a slower, gradual growth. But like my husband, he's always like, but it has been a growth. We haven't, I just had a goal after goal to double it. Mm-hmm. This year we'll double it. Whatever we did last year, we'll do that again and more. And we've done that, and it's grown, and it's been slow, and it's hard, when it's not as fast as you want it to be. But I don't know.
Yeah,
didn't quit.
Well, I love that story. Actually, I think what we frequently hear about is they're like, I had this brilliant idea, and I was brilliant, so it took off.
Yes.
And but I don't think that's most people's story, actually. I think it's more like this. Okay, so over the course, because you started in 2017, over the course of that period of time, how many times did you say, I don't know about this?
Oh my gosh. like 100. Like the last year was a really hard year. I feel like the economy was wild. My ads tanked. And so last year, like in December, I was like, there's no way I can double it next year. So I guess we're done. I guess we're quitting.
Yeah. How many times did you close the company in your head?
Yeah, I closed it many times, and then just somehow we came back. But I think there's all these stories of like this amazing product that was like, oh my gosh, how did they think of that? I should have thought of that. But a lot of businesses are another bow shop.
Yeah.
And we still need bows, and we still need all these regular things that we think is too saturated or whatever. It's just, we got to put our spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone told me, I can't remember who it was, early on, she also had a business, and her husband told her, the only thing different about your business is you. And that like hit me hard is, there are a ton of other bow shops, and there's supposedly it's too many bow shops. Like I can't fit in here, but like there's no one like me doing a bow shop, and so I'm gonna do it. And so I don't know, I've just always thought of that, like we can do it our own way, and we can do it different, and I can get different fabric than them, and I can do whatever, because we're all different and unique. And
I love it. Okay, so what's unique about yours? What's other than you, obviously.
Other than me.
Yeah. How does that, I guess, how do you manifest in your product line?
I try to make my business like me. I am like motivated by fun. I love those like personality profiling tests, you know. I'm a yellow type personality, and I like fun things. And if there's nothing like happening this weekend, like I'm in a bad mood on Wednesday because I have nothing to look forward to. So I try to like kind of bring that into my business. And this month is March birthday month, because March 1st is when I started. And so all month long I've been doing giveaways and freebies and sales. And I just try to make it kind of a party. And then
make it a party. That's a slogan right there. I like that. Yeah.
We try to have fun. And the girls that work for me are super fun, and they're great and supportive. And I try to have like unique prints on our bows and high quality products. I'm really picky. And every time I hire a new girl, I'm like, just so you know, I'm really picky. Just expect that from the beginning. I'm picky. So we can still be friends, but I'm picky.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, because it's your name and your face on everything. It's okay for you to have a standard that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, and I want people to not regret, you know, the money that they spend, and then they'll come back.
Yeah.
So
something that I've seen happen occasionally, and it's usually when you have like a partnership, or sometimes multiple partners. I was talking to a guy at a branding agency that we were talking to not long ago, and he talked about like his work with his partner and how they had really different ideals and directions of where they wanted to go, and ultimately they had to split off because they just couldn't come to alignment on what the direction of this thing was. And I think it's important to maintain like your vision and making sure that you're really chasing what you want it to be, what you think it has to be.
Yeah.
Right?
And even as a sole like business owner, I've had times where I'm like, I'm wanting to add different products because I found them at my manufacturer also sells this, or I learned how to make this. And I've had this year, that has been something that I'm like kind of reining it in, and we're going to just niche down hard on bows.
Yeah.
Because I've added dresses and I've added things, and I am like the fun little things like earrings and necklaces and things we can add that are small. But last year when the year ended, I was going to do like a clothing thing and a mom and me swimsuit, and we were going to kind of go all in on boutique girl boutique. And then I just thought like, no, we're good at bows.
Yeah.
We sell bows.
Right.
And just couldn't figure out like taking the risk and the investment of adding all these clothes, and I don't know how to do that. And I just stepped back and thought, so sometimes even, as my own boss, I need to rein it in and like revisit my values and what my goal is. And
how do you do that? When you're, you're seeing all these flashy new things that maybe get you distracted, like, oh, that could be cool to go into that, or that could be cool to go into that. How do you bring yourself back to center to say, this is what we do?
I think I just felt it. And I think that's a huge thing in life and in businesses is you just have to kind of like go with what feels good and pray about it and go with your gut. So last year I mentioned it was just like a rough year, and I didn't know, like, what am I going to do this year to, to match what we did last year? And so that makes me feel like just so much pressure, January 1st, like, what am I going to do? How are we going to do it again? So I think that was like fear, creating those ideas to do this boutique and do a Mom and Me swimsuit thing and all this. And once I got through January and February and like kind of chilled and like realized like, okay, I don't actually have to have it all figured out by January. Like the world tells us we do, setting all these goals. I think I just realized it's okay. Like, I don't need to climb a mountain. We can just do what we're doing, and that's fine too. And some people have goals that they want to do these huge grand things, and that's not mine. So I just, I can't like plan and work through fear, or I feel like it's kind of takes me in the wrong direction of following all the trends and fads, and I can do all the things.
Yeah. So I got to ask you this, because this is kind of interesting, because it sounds like you sort of make these calls and decisions like mostly on your own, right? Oh. Who do you look to for maybe mentorship or advice as you're working through this stuff? Or does it all just live in your head and
there's a lot of things that live in my head. Yeah. My head is kind of a stressful place to be sometimes. Definitely my husband. Yeah. He's very supportive. I'm very lucky that way. I know a lot. I have friends that have quit their business because their husband's not supportive.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really sad to me because, like we said, sometimes we need a thing, not just being a mom. But my husband's really supportive. He's kind of like we have the same like boredom brain. We get bored. We need to do the next thing. So he's, can think through things from me. He has a marketing degree in business. So he does all like the financial things and the accounting for my business. But yeah, he's just supportive and he listens. And then early on also, I searched on Instagram, found people and was like, let's be friends.
Yeah.
You have a business. I need a friend that knows, what world I live in right now. And so I think finding like business friends is absolutely necessary.
I think you're totally right about that. There's this really interesting thing that happens in the business world where we all portray like this idea that we all know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And when you actually sit and talk to people, we're all just like, I hope that works.
Yeah. You realize no one knows what they're doing. And we're all just like one step at a time. And it's kind of scary. And it's all fake it till you make it. And that's a lot of what my business has been. It's
Yeah. Do you ever feel like, gosh, I'm such an imposter? Like this is.
Yes, all the time. I remember like, even now I do this because I feel like my business should be where it isn't. We always want more and more. But I remember like when I would get the first time I got like 10 orders or something, I would take a picture like it looked like so many more orders to post on Instagram. And that sounds like a kind of dishonest or like deceitful thing. But I did this business class and someone said like, you're just like, you're just projecting what's going to happen. Like show them what you want, show them what is going to happen and what's going to be, and it'll happen. And then I feel like that also kind of gives your customers some social proof that like other people are ordering. So
yeah, this is a real business.
So it's okay that I ordered.
Oh goodness. Okay. So what do you feel like, maybe there's two parts to this question. Mm-hmm. What do you feel like over the last 6 years, what's been your biggest triumph and your biggest failure? Oh, this is a rough one here.
So I know my biggest failure. I have a Happiest Place collection. It's like a Disney inspired bows, dresses. And the dress it's kind of been like my unicorn product. It was for a while, and it's kind of coming back. That's what died last year is we got this, it's called our Parks dress, and it sold really good. And I had my ad guy who called me Goosey. He started promoting this, and we sold so many dresses, and it sold out. And so I told him, I was like, stop the ads. Like, I don't have any more dresses. Yeah. And so I ordered more, and it sold out again. And he was like, order as many as you can afford of those. He's like, we can sell them. Like, the stats are here. And he's like, even if we have to put a sale, like do a discount on the ad, we can sell them. So order as many as you can. I ordered more than I should have. This was last March, because I remember we were in St. George or Moab for spring break, and I was like about to push order, like, and we're in an Airbnb.
Just listening to
I'm
it.
like telling my husband, I'm like, this is not a terrible mistake, right? Like, this is okay. This is so much money. It's all going on a credit card, like so much money. And he was like, yeah, it's fine. It's like, it's a risk. Inventory is a good risk, because then you still have something.
You have some value there, yeah.
And it wasn't a mistake in that, like, I shouldn't have ordered it. It was just there's movement in the world and in ads and in everything. And my ads tanked. And there was a Disney boycott in March, like right after that, for that last fall or last spring. And we could not recover those Disney ads for months. And then the economy kind of crashed in the summer. And so I still have in my basement boxes and boxes of these dresses. So, like, just, I don't know, lots of money on the credit card. And by now, like, we've technically paid off that amount, but it's still there. Some of it's still there. So that's the goal for this year.
Does it like look you in the eye every time you walk in there? And you're like,
stares me in the soul. Like, it is. We have a corner where we come down, and like the corner is kind of blocked. You have to like kind of shimmy around the corner in my basement to get past the boxes. But thank goodness our ads are kind of I feel like the world is kind of rolling again this year, finally in 2023, and they're selling again. So that's really good news. It'll be a good day when they're gone. What is my biggest triumph? I don't know. Last fall, I was excited because I did 2 influencer collections. Really excited about that because someone said yes, because I've been doing for 6 years now, email and text and message to influencers, and no response or no thank you or whatever, just because that's the world that it is. Yeah. And last year we did 2 influencer collections, and they were great. So
tell us about, for people who don't know, what does that mean? Okay. What's an influencer collection?
So influencers on the Instagram, that's someone that just has a lot of following, a lot of pull, and they agreed. I reached out to them to do like a collaborative group of bows. Or I think we did bows and clips. And I kind of like told them, like, this is what is your style, I think. What do you like? And they picked out the fabrics, and we made the collection together. Mm-hmm. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's super cool.
We did that last year. It was good.
Yeah, I love it. Who were the influencers? Who were those
So
people?
One was Lauren Webb. She's on Instagram, Lolo Webb. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is Fulm House. The Fulmer, Kelsey and Caleb Fulmer. They live here in Rexburg. Rexburg, yeah. So those were fun. And it just was exciting to like have someone say yes. So that's the amount of victories that we're looking for here, is just anything is great. And
yeah, well, I mean you talk about the slow burn, right? Mm-hmm. Over the last few years. What do the little victories look like? Because I think this is something that a lot of people get hung up on a little bit. They're like, I didn't hit the big whatever, the big milestone. That's what I was actually thinking when you said big triumph, is I feel like I have had more small victories. Mm-hmm. Because it is such a roller coaster world I think, as a business owner, because I'll have a great spring launch, and the next day we realize this one bow is crappy and we can't ship it to them. We got to return, that money, or there's just so many things. I have a bow subscription,
And we just this week received a box of bows that has been lost for a month and a half. And therefore my April bow subscription, which ships next week, and they were supposed to be here the beginning of February. They got delivered in Oklahoma, and then I'm pretty sure they went back to China.
Oh no!
And it was bows I was getting embroidered. So it was this like I was so excited to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be the first bow subscription that has an embroidered bow. That's so cool, and we're going to sell so many. And then I couldn't take a picture all month long to show the people that we have this bow. So there's a lot of like just like ups and downs, and yeah, I think maybe looking for the little victories is what we need to do, because we don't quit. We don't quit until it's done.
Right.
So
Yeah, I've always said that like success is really just not giving up, right? And the only time you really fail is when you just say I'm done and you give up.
Yeah, it's when you stop.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so I want to talk. Maybe could we get into like some nitty gritty on the business itself?
Sure, if I know that information, I don't know.
Well, we've been talking. So how do you produce it? Where do you get the stock from?
Okay.
How does it get delivered? Tell us about the operational side of the business.
So I pick out all the fabrics. I have a team of 11 people, seamstresses,
Wow.
and girls that sew or come and ship for me. So I order the fabric. I order from like most of the fabric I get from a custom website where I go find a design that I like and we custom print it on fabric. I started doing that a few years ago because I was sick of seeing my same bow or the same fabric in another bow shop, because we both shopped at Hobby Lobby,
Right, yeah.
And
or like a vest for a kid or something like that.
Yes, exactly. I'd see a
Kids
dress.
wearing vests these days?
It's probably coming back. Everything's coming back.
That's true.
We'll be wearing vests soon.
I remember when I was young, it was like sailor outfits. That's what it seemed like. Do you have anyone
I've seen pictures.
Sailor outfits?
Oh, with like the big
Andrew's-
collar.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what moms were putting their kids in. It was a dark time for the world. Yeah. It's rough.
Yeah, but we all were wearing the same fabric with our sailor outfits
right.
because we all shopped at Joann's and Hobby Lobby.
Right.
So I stopped doing that. Some, things I still get there, but I mostly order from these custom places. And then it gets here and I cut the fabric still, which is something that I'd love to not do.
I actually watched one of your videos of you cutting the fabric.
Forever.
And it was speed lapsed and it was still a long video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a long video, and like you don't want to know how long it actually took me to do in real life. So I cut it and then I pass it out to seamstresses. I have my mom works for me. My mom sews.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have girls that tie bows and girls that glue them all and put the clips on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's it's taken me a long time to get the production like backtracked enough so that like we're working on spring in December. And
Right.
because I have to give my team enough time to do all of that. And then they bring it to me and I do a photo shoot and
then it's off.
and we go.
Right. So when you're coming up with the lead time, so right now we are in, what month is this? March. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you working on and designing today?
4th of July.
4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have, and this is only like I'm trying really hard to get this organized. We just had a team meeting this month, and my girl that manages my subscriptions, I told her, I was like, how can we get 2 months ahead? Like we have to.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this because it's so much scrambling.
Yeah.
And that's really if I'm being fully like transparent, the behind the scenes is a lot of me scrambling. That's what the truth is. And I think that's what the truth is of a lot of small businesses like mine, is we just kind of go and go and go. But I am doing 4th of July right now, planning for that, ordering fabric for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we've got June and May already. And
yeah. So what does the future look like? What do you want to see happen to your business over the next 1, 2, 3 years?
I don't know. Honestly, I get this question asked all the time, or people say like, did you ever think it would get this big? And I'm just like, I never thought about it. I really didn't. And I think that's my personality type, is I'm just like I'm in it and I just do it the next thing and just keep doing it. And I don't know. I'd like to keep it going. I'd like to keep growing it. I love the freedom that my business has given me and my family and my kids. We bought a house this last year and moved my business in the basement. And it was a house that we probably wouldn't have bought if my business wasn't going to help pay for it, because so I had an office in town and we won't be paying rent anymore.
Sure,
so
yeah.
now we're putting that towards the house payment. So I'm really grateful for the growth and the freedom that I have. That's kind of my goal, and my why is just like, I love the freedom and I want to, be able to do what I want with my kids and go do fun things. And I would love it out of my basement. That's a goal for 3 years.
Sure. Yeah.
It's
a good one.
great for now because I was last year at my office all the time.
Yeah.
So now I'm in my basement all the time, and I still have a 4-year-old at home. And so it's just, this is the season of my life, but hopefully in 3 years, it's not in my basement.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, fingers crossed for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
So one of the things that's really interesting about you and your organization is first of all, you have a really strong social media following.
Thank you.
It's really great. And I actually went through, and I don't know how many videos I watched.
You get sucked in.
Yeah, you do.
Uh-huh.
40 maybe? It was a lot.
Well, thanks for those views.
Yeah. So tell us about the marketing side of how you do what you do. Because so much about your business, not only is it really operationally driven, but any kind of internet business is marketing driven as well.
Yeah.
So what is it that you do there to push yourself along?
At East Idaho Credit Union, we're changing the future of business with our Velocity Money Market account. You can receive unbeatable returns on tiered interest rates. We have rates up to 2.02% annual percentage yield. East Idaho Credit Union puts local businesses first because when you do better, we all do better. Federally insured by the NCUA.
I read, I think, a book or listened to something early on about the compound effect. And so first year of doing Gussy Up Bow Co, I decided every day I'm going to post on Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's a very simple thing that anyone can do.
Yep.
And so I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would get up and I would post on Instagram. And sometimes I didn't have a picture and sometimes I didn't know what I was going to post tomorrow. And it used to be a lot harder to do that than it is now. And now it's natural. It's become a habit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's always a new thing. Now we got to do stories and now I've got to make reels. And someday I probably should get on TikTok. And it's harder than it looks. The Instagram, I have a girl that ships for me and she also does social media marketing for another company.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me the other day, she's like, you inspired me to take some flat lay photos. And she's like, because it's really hard and I don't want to. And I was like, thanks for saying that because it's really hard. Sometimes it's really hard. And people say all the time to me, like, I could never do stories and talk on Instagram like you do. And yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can. If no one listens to me, I'm still going to get on there and say the things I want to say about bows. And it doesn't matter. It's just... I don't know. I just do the thing and it's gotten more comfortable.
Yeah. You develop that muscle.
Yeah. And that's probably exactly what it is. It's just an exercise and we're not going to worry about how good we look and how many filters we need or what, someone else said. We're just going to do the thing.
Yeah. You mentioned briefly the compound effect of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that to our audience who maybe doesn't know what that means.
Just doing something over and over and over and like building a house, putting a brick on every single day, you're going to build a house someday.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have one. And it really works.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's really slow.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually the point of the compound effect maybe is it's not supposed to be quick because there's no overnight success actually.
Right.
It's supposed to be one at a time, one brick at a time. And maybe we're going to build a castle at the end. Maybe it's going to be something, probably it's going to be something great if we do it every day and if we do it consistently.
I had somebody explain it to me in a way that I really liked where they said, like, all of that content is sort of like rental properties, right? And so each one of your properties is going to drive a certain amount of business for you, a certain amount of revenue for you every month. And so you want to have as many of those properties as possible. And some will perform really well and some will perform less well. But you want as many rental properties as possible.
Yeah.
And so, you have 40 pieces of content that are sitting out there that I watched, over the course of this week.
And yeah, exactly. I never know what is going to work and what is going to not. And sometimes I'm like, geez, why did they like that one? Gosh. But yeah, we just got to, I don't know, I guess not worry about that, because there's times when I see someone else post something that does really well. And then I ask like a friend of mine, like, did you get a lot of sales? And it's not always the case. It's not always the case that they got anything from that, but we're still going to do it again.
Yeah. You keep swinging, right? You just keep going. Really, really interesting. Okay. So if you were going to give some advice to somebody that's thinking about starting a business, maybe it's a mom who's thinking, I want to start a business, or a young entrepreneur, and you had their ear, and you could just tell them, like, here are the things you got to understand before you get into this. What would those things be?
I would probably say just start today. Start tomorrow. Everything that you need to know before you get into it, you can learn along the way. We can build it as we go. I would say it's going to be harder than you think it is, but it's totally doable. It's definitely been way harder than I thought it was. And there's so many times where I was like, this is it. And I'm so annoyed. And my husband, like, for early on told me, he's like, wow, this really is like he, has a business degree and a marketing degree. And he was even surprised at the highs and the lows of a small business, owning a small business. And that is real. It's real. But just like a pendulum, like, you can't have high highs if you don't have low lows. Like, you can't go as high as you can fly if you don't go that low. Like, you can't, it doesn't work that way. So we have to have both. And I think it's worth it to have, the difficulties, to have the highs, because that's how we get, how we grow and how we learn and how we evolve. And I don't know. And then I guess that's what I can teach my kids.
Yeah.
That's my real goal of this. All of it is to, teach my kids and show them that we can work hard and we don't quit.
A lot of people have not had the experience of, like, small startup company. And most people only see, like, the cool stuff that comes out of it.
Yeah.
They don't see that almost every day was awful.
Yeah.
They just have no idea how, like, absolutely excruciatingly painful it is all the time.
I have a bow friend, and she
a bow friend. I like
love that. She makes bows too. She sells bows. She messaged me the other day, and she's been having a hard time, and she just told me, she's like, little do they know, after her spring launch, like, she was crying last night sewing bows, and I'm just like, oh girlfriend. But it is hard. And there's a reason we don't post some of those things too. Like, they're personal. It feels like maybe we're lying, but also it's just like a personal thing. And so I don't know, the social media facade is hard.
It is hard.
And I try to not, be too fake on there, but sometimes we are building a business. This is our business. We do have to make it look good, but it is really hard. So to find the balance and to show people that it isn't easy is also a tricky thing. Yeah.
Well, people like authenticity, but they don't like to know that there's tears on their bow that they just got as well, right? So there's an interesting balance to strike there. Who do you feel like has really given you a lot of advice? Who's really, really helped you as you've gone through this?
Probably the same people I told you before, my husband and friends. Just relying on them and asking them, how did you do this? And Google too. Lots of Google advice for me. And I don't know, my parents were hard workers, and they didn't, have a small business or anything. But I remember growing up, my mom, like, on her birthday, what we did was clean the garage, because she wanted the garage cleaned. So we didn't, she just was a good example of hard work, and that, I think that's just in me, and we do the thing, and we don't don't stop until we're done.
I want to go back to social media a little bit. I know, like, just from personal experience with posting things that are so public, you constantly have this desire to like archive things that don't get like a ton of views. And how do you work through mentally being like, no, I'm going to leave this as you grow your page and make it what you want it to be?
I've tried to stop worrying about followers and just worry about building the business. And so that makes me worry less about what content I'm creating and how it's going to how people are going to react to it and how it's going to perform. And we'll see how that works. That's kind of last year and this year is what we're trying to do. Because Instagram is always changing, like I can't do giveaways anymore and get hundreds of followers like I used to. So it kind of is just not up to me. And I've tried to believe that. It's not up to me. It's none of my business what they think of this thing that I spent time doing today. And I saw the value in it, and so I'm going to do it. And it's not my problem. It's none of my business. And there are times when I have to, make it my problem if nothing's selling. We got to pivot and we got to come up with ideas. But I try to worry less about what's going to happen.
Love that idea. Like, you can't worry about followers.
Yeah.
It's just going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And you just keep
And they're going to find us because they love us.
Yes.
The people that want us are going to find us. And the people that think we're annoying, we would like them to leave too, And it's a very real thing because I have customers and there's just no way we can make them happy. And I have a great customer service team. And so I think it'd be great, better for them if we stopped frustrating them, So our people are going to find us.
Yeah.
If we put the right stuff out there.
Yeah.
That's really good advice.
Yeah.
Fun.
Okay. So, what do you want people to know about you and your business?
I'm very regular. That's what I want people to know. It's so nice of you to say that I have a cool, a big Instagram following because I've worked for it for 6 years, but I don't feel like that's who I am. I don't feel like it makes me anything. I think it's just, that's my business. And I'm just like everyone else and want to be your friend. And like, also let's do hard things. Let's like go through the movement of life. And I love this thought of just like life moves and there's supposed to be good things and there's supposed to be down times. Yeah. And if we expect it, then it won't be as shocking, because we all have hard things and easy things and fun things and we're all regular. I'm very normal.
Yeah.
I just like
just a person.
I just like accessories.
That's right.
Okay, I have another question. How do you help mothers who cannot get their children to wear bows, but they want their child to wear bows?
So I have a 4-year-old who does not. She has the most sensitive head, and she's the whiniest 4-year-old there is. And I love her. But she doesn't want her hair done ever. And we had a poll about this actually just the other day on Instagram. And someone said like, well, if only I could get my daughter to wear that, or how do you get them to hold still to do, I think it was a video I posted of my daughter getting her hair done. And I said, well, that was my 6-year-old. She does really good. You should see my 4-year-old. She's never in the videos. But usually I do her hair like every 2 or 3 days. And someone said that to me the other day. She's like, even though Clarissa like sells bows, sometimes her girl's hair is a mess. And I was so blown away by that. And I was like, yeah, we're normal over here. We have a basement full of bows that my girls won't wear. But usually I, do a show, put a briber. I'm all about bribery. I think it's fine. And then just, making it less of a big deal. I literally do my 4-year-old's hair like every 2 or 3 days. And it's just like, that's what she is. Likes. That's who she is. She doesn't like her hair done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And yes, I still make those. Even though it looks like a train wreck
do
here.
Those little comments like, oh, she does bows and look at her child's hair. Did those ever get to you?
Oh, it used to.
Yeah.
Now, and certain things still get to me. But I was talking about this with my husband the other day, like remembering how customer service emails used to like stab me in the heart,
Oh,
crush me. And
Yeah.
because at that point it was like still like building the airplane as I was moving, and I like put my heart and soul in this
Yeah.
bow that you just hate.
yeah.
And people are just, mean sometimes.
They are.
And
yeah.
so we can't get our feelings hurt about it too much anymore. It still hurts my feelings sometimes, but comments on Instagram, I don't know. I just think they're having a bad day, I guess. That's what I try to tell my son, I guess. So I should listen to that advice too. But I don't know. They don't. I try not, like, it's funny. Yeah. My 4-year-old, I wish she would let me do her hair too. Doesn't she look like a mess? Yes, I agree with you.
You're disappointed. You gotta figure
Yeah,
out how I feel.
exactly. How do you think I feel? I make bows.
I remember there was this thing that my dad used to say all the time when somebody would act ugly about something. It could be little things, but he'd always just say, "Man, they're not really happy." That's what he always would say about them.
Yeah.
He also used to say that when we'd be like headed to church on Sunday morning and the neighbor was pulling their boat out, he'd also say, "They're not really happy."
They're not really happy kids. They are going to hate boating today.
That's right.
We're going to have so much more fun at church.
Yeah.
What's your message to the world?
I think just we can do hard things, which sounds so cliche, but I think life is really hard, like for everyone. And we can do it. We can all do it. And we can have fun while we're doing it. And do the thing. I think just like doing something can change any mood and, like make an impact, the compound effect. Just doing something and then doing it again is huge. So I don't know. And then have some fun. I really like to have fun. So have fun while we do the thing. I don't know.
I love it.
No, that's great.
Make it a party.
Yeah,
That's
make it a
great.
party. There you go.
Yeah.
Make everything a party.
Thank you for joining us on the DRGN SLYR podcast by East Idaho Credit Union. Clarissa, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you guys next time.